Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today I am participating in a hop for Pixi Dust Designs, and this is a hop and a giveaway. So there will be a giveaway on each channel. So if you stop and comment on each channel, that increases your chances of winning. And for my video, I am using the hot air balloon set that recently was released. I absolutely love this set. I've made 2 other projects with this over on the Pixi Dust Designs YouTube channel. And at the end of the video, I'll show you those in case you need some inspiration. And then I've gone ahead and I've cut out the main hot air balloon 4 times with some 110-pound cardstock, and then once with some Bristol smooth cardstock. And then I've cut out the banner, and I cut out the bow, but I don't actually end up using that. And then there's this little trim piece for the balloon. And then for my balloon today, I am using kind of these decorative pieces that go on top of the balloon. And like I said, this is my 3rd video. And this is the first time I am using these pieces to decorate the balloon, because there are several options on what you can use to decorate this balloon. Along with that, I am using a flower die set from my stash, and I've cut out a bunch of flowers using Bristol smooth cardstock. Because I am going to be coloring these with my Tombow. So I've got my paintbrush, a paper towel, and a little bit of water. This makes for really super quick and easy coloring. You can ink blend, Copic color, really you can use colored cardstock. There's lots of options as to how to do this. Pattern paper as well. But I've just added a little bit of color to the balloon, and I'm taking my wet brush and moving that around. And then for these pieces, originally I wanted this pink, but then after I made the flowers, the pink was a little too pink, and so I ended up switching it up and not using those. But I did create some additional pieces to go over the balloon. And then I'm going to color the little banner here, and that's going to go across the top. And then for the flowers, it's just really quick. I just add a little bit of color with my Tombows in the center of the flower, and then take my wet brush and move that out, and that's pretty much it. I wanted more of a watercolor look for these, and so I wasn't too concerned about making sure that every little bit of white space was covered on these. But once I've done with the flowers, I'm going to go ahead and recolor the balloon pieces that I'm going to use. And I'm using some antique linen to go over the balloon. And then I will actually add some tea dye just to darken that up, give it more of a vintage look. Even though these pieces are not going to be really seen too much when the flowers are on top of them, but I wasn't sure the exact end result for this card, and so better safe than sorry, just in case those pieces could be seen. I had rather have them on there than have to go back and try and fix something. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these pieces. And like I mentioned before, this balloon has several different accessories for how you can decorate it. There is a die that just goes over like half of the top that you can use. And then there is kind of like a border die that trims out just around the die, and you can make a little shaker with it. So lots of options, and the price point for this die set is really awesome. It is very affordable, and you can do lots of different things and lots of different cards and styles of cards or other projects with this as well. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just adding a little bit of glue to the center of the back of the flower. I didn't want the petals completely flat. And then I'll add this little piece of trim to the basket. And then I'm going to grab my craft knife, and right along that piece of trim that I just adhered, I am going to make a little slit. I want to make sure to leave a little bit of room on each side of the basket so that it doesn't completely detach. But I just wanted a little slit so that I can adhere or insert a few of those pieces with stems. And I made all of these flowers and cut them all out and colored them, and not thinking that I would use them all, but I do. And hopefully I didn't go overboard. I kind of questioned after I looked at it when I was editing the video about if I should have put as much as I did, but hopefully you can still see the beautiful hot air balloon. And originally when I thought to put the flowers on the hot air balloon, I thought I was going to use my paper flowers. I have a lot of those tiny little paper flowers from Prima. And so I was going to use those, but I wanted to color them how I wanted to color them. And so I ended up using this die set. So if you have those paper flowers, that would work on this as well. So I went ahead and I turned the balloon over to adhere those stems that are in the basket to make sure they didn't move around. And then I'll just trim off the excess. And then I will add the banner. So I wanted the banner popped up a little bit. So I'm going to add a little piece of double-sided foam to each side of that banner. And then kind of make it bow a little bit so that it is kind of dimensional over the balloon. And so I'm going to add some liquid adhesive to this as well, just to make sure that it adheres really well. And so when I put this down, I'm just going to kind of push it in a little bit to get that to stick up a little bit away from the balloon. And then I just go crazy a little, adding a bunch of the different stems and flowers underneath that banner. And like I said, hopefully it's not an overkill. And then since there's so much dimension on the back of this main piece, I just went ahead and I added some foam, and I'm going to adhere that to one piece of the extra cut of the balloon. Remember, there's 5 pieces altogether. And then the next 2 pieces, I will just adhere those 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to add a little bit more foam, and the foam is not horribly thick, so this is not super dimensional, but it just gives enough of height away from the card that I think it just looks really cool. So I went ahead and I adhered those other 2 pieces, and then here's my last little bit of foam on that very bottom piece. And for this piece, I also added some liquid adhesive for extra strength, but mainly so that I could try and get this on as evenly as possible, and that glue helps to be able to kind of move around a little bit without being stuck immediately. And so I'll go ahead and add that and try and get that lined up. And that's pretty much going to do it for the balloon portion. I do add one more flower on the basket that I found that was kind of a stray flower that I added. But the background, what I did was I took a cover die of mine and dry embossed it on a piece of white cardstock. And I'll go ahead and adhere that. And then I also took some gold watercolor and splattered that on both the balloon and the background. And that's pretty much going to finish the card off. I chose not to add a sentiment at this time because I'm not really sure for what occasion I'm going to use it for. It might be a Mother's Day card for my mother-in-law, but I haven't quite decided yet. So this is a completed card. I hope you enjoyed. This was so super fun. And there are lots of super cool dies in this release. And so make sure you go ahead and click on the next person in the hop, which will be in the description below. I will also leave a link for the Pixi Dust YouTube channel in case you want to check out the other 2 videos I created using this die. And then here coming up, there are some pictures of those projects. But I thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video or found it informative, I would love a thumbs up. As always, I really do appreciate you spending some time with me today, and I hope to see you next time.